Thank you for coming to the Parks Advisory Committee meeting for July 16th, 2025. We're going to go ahead and start out with roll call.
Jim Hill. Here. Tiffany Long.
Here.
Shelley Reynolds.
Here.
Victoria Rizzo.
Here.
Woodrow Terrell.
Here.
Shirley Winters.
Here.
And myself, Jonah Jacobson, is here representing staff. Robbie Cantrell.
Here.
Right, we have a full house.
All right, number two.
And Frank Stevens. Frank's not on this list now. Sorry, excuse me.
We got two new. So
Yeah.
and then
Sorry.
I can't remember his name either. You probably didn't get a message about tonight.
it's funny. I just talked to him on Sandy Avenue the other day too. He lives on Jackson Way.
Okay. I'll reach out.
We know each other. He's a mountain biker, so.
Yeah, my apologies, everybody, and certainly my apologies to our newest member. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So I'll reach out and let him know.
All right, number two is review and approve meeting minutes, which we did not get in time. I don't think anybody really has May's either, so we were thinking we're gonna push May and June to next month. That's okay with everybody? Do we need to vote on that, or can we just?
Probably should have a motion.
Okay.
I would make the motion that we move the minutes for May and June. August.
Woodrow, I second.
Is it May and June?
So all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Move the meeting minutes, which we will hopefully get prior to the meeting next month, from May and June to August, and we'll have July's as well, so fun times. Number three, communication from staff. Jonah?
All right, welcome everybody, and it's great to see you all here again today. And so in the month since our last meeting, really the big news is the Glen Auto Pay to Park system was launched on the 10th last week. And the first weekend or opening weekend of it was by most measures, I would say, successful. And the data gathered shows that the public is having a relatively easy time interacting with the payment system. And that will be made easier when a new payment kiosk arrives in a few weeks and is installed at some point before the end of the summer. I haven't gotten an ETA update on that yet, but I am expecting it at some point in August. Let's see, so if you've been following the public announcements that have been circulating prior to the launch, then you've likely heard this already. But the city did make a change to the plan a week before the launch and decided to limit payment collection to only Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. This manages the busiest days in the parking lot and also creates exemptions for most of the community service meetings and things that happen, like the Boy Scouts and the Steelheaders and various support groups and things like that happen in the Sam Cox building during the week. So this provides free parking to most of them. It also, really the main purpose of the pay to park system is to manage parking demand, is to promote turnover in the parking lot at the busiest times. The intention is not to extract the maximum amount of money out of people on the maximum number of days. So really we decided just to focus on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And so for the first 30 days following last weekend's launch, we'll only be issuing warnings for unpaid vehicles in the lot. And beginning on August 9th, citations will be issued. Troutdale residents are, of course, able to register their vehicle license plates for parking fee exemptions. And so far, 231 residents have entered their LPNs into the system, which is encouraging. I think that's, it's a pretty good number of people for the first couple of weeks who have responded well to the city's policy around this, Troutdale residents. So, yeah, we're looking forward to gathering more data as the summer progresses, and certainly I will be sharing like a post-season report with this committee after we kind of start to see the slowdown. And earlier this year, Troutdale Community Development applied for and received a grant award from the Oregon Department of Land Conservation. It's called the Development Green Infrastructure Grant. And our grant award is going to help the city to develop an urban forestry master plan and street tree manual, which is something that has been on the back burner for me since I started here, basically, and I've been wanting to get around to creating the street tree manual, but it keeps kind of being bumped down on the priority list as more things come up. So I am very grateful for this kind of help and consulting. So after receiving the grant award, the city solicited proposals from consulting firms that specialize in this type of work, and ultimately we selected Dudek Consulting, who are locally based in Portland. And over the coming year, Dudek is going to be conducting a lot of public outreach, and eventually we'll be assisting the city in reviewing our current practices and policies around urban forestry and street trees. And eventually, what will come out of that is we will be bringing some suggested changes to Troutdale's street tree code before City Council. The idea being that basically, we would like to sort of streamline our street tree code, provide increased incentive for planting and maintenance of street trees. We've seen our street tree inventory decline year over year with more removals than plantings. And I could go on and on about the benefits of street trees. They increase property value, they help reduce stormwater runoff, they shade in the hot summers, so and they also actually help to reduce traffic speeds for drivers on the road. And so I plan on inviting the consultants from Dudek and the planners from Dudek to come to some of the advisory committee meetings over the next year. And yeah, like I said, the idea is going to be that with some audits of our street tree code, we'll hopefully be removing some barriers and burdens that homeowners in Troutdale often experience with the trees in their planting strips, and promoting more tree planting and a sustainable urban forest canopy in the city for years to come. So more to come on that, and you will very likely see some folks from Dudek in this room in the coming months. And we also have continued our replacement of the Beaver Creek boardwalk over the last couple of weeks. We have decided to accomplish this in-house, and the redesign and rebuild of the boardwalk is being led by our very talented facilities maintenance tech, Jonathan Villalobos, who has a lot of building experience. It is grueling work, demolishing the boardwalk and hauling the pieces out from the bottom of the Creek Canyon, and then hauling the new materials in and building down there. So we're doing it sort of piecemeal, section by section, because it's not the sort of thing that will be able to complete all at once, all in one shot. But the sections that we have completed are looking really good, and so you'll begin to see that expand into the entire boardwalk over the coming year. And yeah, those are some highlights from the last month.
This is Shelley. Can you tell me the funds for the Peta Park, have those been slotted for anything specific, or are they just going into the general budget?
They were earmarked by City Council in the resolution that approved Peta Park specifically for the Parks Division. So all funding that comes out of that will be staying in Parks. That was it was a nice surprise out of that resolution.
This is Tiffany. Do you have an update on Sharon Nesbitt Heritage Park?
At the moment, I don't. I haven't heard anything recently other than they are more or less on target for completion of the park. There were some hang-ups and inspection issues, but I believe that those have been resolved now, and I don't think that they lost too much time. So I haven't heard much about it recently, and I kind of assume that no news is good news, but if you've been down there recently, I'm sure you've seen that a lot of the concrete work has gone in, the retaining walls, and I know that they did add a utility stub out for a location for a restroom in the future. That is not included in the initial plan of the park. I believe it should have been, but at the very least, we do have a utility connection to install a restroom there in the future.
Utility including like sewer?
Yeah, exactly. Sewer, water, power.
And then you didn't say that you guys put the water in the dog park, but it's in there.
Oh yeah, that's right. That happened also. We did, yeah, we did get the water station installed in the dog park just in the nick of time at the end of pretty much on the very last day of the fiscal year. So the doggies have a water station now.
Which is excellent. We just have to get you guys a bathroom now. Does anybody else, do we have any comments or questions for Jonah besides?
I did have a question on the citations at Glen Otto. Who is going to be issuing those?
So at this time, all enforcement actions are going through Oregon Patrol Service, which is our contract security firm that does patrols at Glen Otto and other parks. And so, yeah, at the moment, they are the only enforcement mechanism that we have for this. Yeah, it's not being done by MCSO.
And then that'll go to the city of Troutdale Municipal Court.
It will. Yeah. All citations will be funneled through this room in Troutdale Community Court.
Cool. I also wanted to just wanted to say thanks for highlighting the fact that your time schedule change it's not based on how much money we want to make on the deal. It's actually based on the parking and trying to provide turnover rather than at the business times. And the data will help with that by next year, hopefully. So it's a pilot project, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. There's a lot still to learn. Thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
I noticed that there's some, this Woodrow, in Glen Otto Park, in the parking lot, there are some, it's like taller poles that have some, I don't know, burlap or cardboard or something over the top of them. Is that part of the parking permit or what?
It is, and that was part of, we had to hide those signs until the big reveal on July 10th. Yeah, so those signs are the zone numbers for the Passport app. So yeah, we were installing signs and keeping them covered until the 10th.
Does anybody online have any questions for Jonah?
Tiffany, this is Paul Wilcox.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd be interested in more details about the first weekend of Glen Otto parking, specifically how many people actually paid and how many warnings were written, if any.
Sure. Yeah, I did just have a meeting with OPS today, and I believe that they said they were issuing about 25 warnings a day, give or take. We're basically taking a random, what they're doing is taking a random sample of cars in the parking lot a certain number of times during the day. They are not going through and continuously scanning every single license plate, but it is truly randomized, and it doesn't happen at the same time every day, and it happens multiple times every day. So that's currently, the system that we're working with. Of course, as Frank said, there's a lot of trial and error involved in this system. So I expect that there will be changes as we go. But as far as the number of, I can tell you the approximate. I was just looking at the data before I came here, and certainly I could send you or anybody who's interested after the meeting some screenshots of some of this, Paul. But there were about, over the weekend, there were about, I believe, 520 active sessions in the parking lots, and yeah. The evidence shows that people are having a relatively easy time interacting with the app, and certainly, I don't want to use this one weekend as too much of an indicator for the entire summer, but the results from one weekend are encouraging.
Okay, Jonah, one other thing, what about the turnaround time on confirmation of resident applications? I actually mailed mine in because it called for a signature. I'm not sure how we were supposed to sign online, so I mailed it in on the 7th, and I haven't gotten confirmation yet. And some other people have commented online about how they're waiting for resident confirmation.
Okay, all right, yeah, I can certainly ask Aaliyah about that. Aaliyah, the Public Works Administrative Assistant, is handling data entry for that part of the system. So I can certainly inquire with her about, if she's sending out confirmation emails or if she's just putting the info in. But yeah, people certainly would like to know if they, first of all, if their application was received, right? So, but yeah, I can follow up with her about that, Paul.
Okay, thanks, Jonah.
So 520 people used the app last Friday, Saturday, Sunday. How many parking spaces total were they using? And what is the capacity of Glen Auto Park?
The total capacity of Glen Auto Park and the, let's say the number of public spaces that are not included in Sugar Pines lease, is 107.
So it's pretty full.
All right, we're gonna move.
And also keep in mind that 520 active sessions is not equal to the number of people who are in the park, because not everybody paid.
We're gonna move on to public to be heard. Comments limited to 5 minutes per speaker. I think we do have somebody in the room, if you would like to come on up.
May I approach?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
State your name and where you're from.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity to address the committee. My name is Josh Finley. I'm a resident of Troutdale. I live right by Glen Auto Park and visit Glen Auto Park frequently. And my comments are going to be about what I have observed in Glen Auto Park, but this may be more broadly applicable to other parks as well. So I have two things I'd like to share with the committee. One of them is more of a public nuisance issue, and the other I think is a really important public safety issue. So I'll start with the public nuisance, which is that frequently at Glen Auto Park there is amplified music being played, very often very loudly. Sometimes it's very inappropriate. I'm down there with my young daughter, and I'm wondering if there is any rule against this, or if there could be a rule against this, because it really seems like there should be for the enjoyment of, the 90% of people that aren't being really obnoxious in this way that visit the park. It only takes one, right, to kind of ruin it for everybody. So, is this a dialogue, or is this just one way me?
I mean, we can ask questions, but we're not really supposed to respond. We're just supposed to listen, right?
Okay.
You're the only person in the room, so we can
Okay.
talk about your concerns, I think.
Sure.
I'm curious, I am
Yeah.
curious of the time frame that's happening at all hours, or?
Yeah, so it's basically whenever we're down there now, now that it's summer on a nice day, we like to visit the beach. I go down there in the evening after work on the weekends.
Can I ask, Mr. Finley, is this mostly on the beach that you're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, it's mostly on the beach. And of course, it's people floating down the river too, but I imagine we can't really do much about that, right? So, but I think, banning amplified music in the park would be a good step that I think would be helpful. Is amplified music permitted in the park? Is there a rule about that currently?
To a certain decibel music, so it depends on, there's certain definitions around amplified music. There's an amplified music permit that is required for people to actually set up like a true PA system. Now, that being said.
There are some of those
Really?
down there that people
Okay.
use, yeah.
So that would require a permit. Now, certainly this is something that I would encourage you to contact Troutdale Code Compliance about. You could
Okay.
probably write an email to Troutdale Code Compliance under the Human Development Department.
Okay.
I will tell you that the Troutdale Parks Division We are strictly maintenance and operations and do no enforcement. We change the garbage, we mow the grass,
Okay.
but we are not park rangers.
Yeah.
So, no Troutdale Parks employee will ever write somebody a ticket for amplifiers. I myself, would have no problem walking up to somebody and asking them to stop doing that, as I frequently do at Glen Auto. Just last week, there was another issue. There was a young man riding a gas-powered dirt bike on the trails at Glen Auto Park, and I chased him down and made him leave. But that's not something that I would ask any of my staff who are union represented, because it's not in their job descriptions.
Sure. So,
Woodrow, so this is mostly individuals with like little speakers, or was it people in their cars? We can't, not even discuss the boat situation or the floating.
yeah.
What about the other side of the river? Was any of this coming from east side?
It's predominantly, so the beaches that I visit are what we call the far beach. I don't know what it's called officially, but if you walk in about 10 minutes, it's the further of the two. So that's where we go the most, so that's where I notice it. But when you walk, all along between the first beach as you come in and that beach, it's kind of constant, and sometimes overlapping. And I'd say some of the speakers are small, but some of them are quite large too. So it really varies, and it can be quite loud and very detrimental to the experience. I mean, for these people and their groups, maybe they're having a good time, but maybe not everyone wants to listen to the same thing that they do. So.
Well, that is certainly something at a certain decibel level. And forgive me, I don't know. I don't have all of the code memorized, but I do know that there is a certain decibel level where where it does become a code violation. And if that's something that is happening over the weekends when we do have contract security present, that is something that they can cite people. So if you ever are there over the weekends and you see Oregon Patrol Service employee, they're wearing kit that says Troutdale Parks Ranger now.
Yeah.
They are our contracted Troutdale Parks Rangers. They can always help you with issues like that whenever they're present.
Okay.
So Shelley, Victoria and I are actually looking at one of the municipal codes that says, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., the noise is audible with a sensitive unit that is not the source of the noise. The noises that are normally high or low, unreasonable noises are prohibited. I don't know that the city code is the issue so much as the ability to enforce it is the issue. I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe we have security reviewing the parking lot, but we don't have any kind of security or law enforcement on the beach.
No, they are. They're making passes on the beach. Yep, they're using the Troutdale Parks gator, and they make patrols of the beach when it's busy down there. Yep, they're bouncing back and forth between the parking lot and the beach and the park.
Gotcha.
I've certainly seen them down there, but they
Have ya?
don't. Yeah, they don't talk to people who are blasted.
They don't enforce that.
I have not discussed this particular code violation with them in the past. The main things that we have focused on there have been dogs, which are not permitted at Glen Auto Park, open containers, and occasional things like, small sort of low level sort of altercation, fist fight sort of things like that, so, but other than that, I haven't specifically said, these are the things I want you to look for.
Putting it on the sign, when you come into the park, there's a sign that outlines the permitted and non-permitted activities. Would that be a possibility to say like no amplified music?
It would be possible. We did just replace those signs, and the signs are, we have struggled to find a balance of length of sign that is something that people will actually look at and take the time to read. When it becomes a wall of small print, they seem to disappear from people's vision. And
With a boom box and an X.
okay. Well, certainly thank you for bringing that to my attention. I can definitely mention this concern to the contract security staff that's there on the weekends, who are at the moment our only enforcement mechanism at Glen Otto Park.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a unfortunate cultural change, it seems like. It's, you know, it's not just Glen Otto Park, it's a lot of aspects of the culture. You go out on hikes, you go to ski areas, whatever, people think it's okay to do this. So.
Yeah. Well,
So it's the right direction or the right guidance we're giving him is to go to the code compliance?
I would send an email to Troutdale Code Compliance, and certainly because
They have a phone number too.
Okay.
because the only Troutdale employee who will be able to during the week, Troutdale Code Compliance will be who will be able to help with this. During the weekends, Oregon Patrol Service will be
Okay.
Do you have a pen?
Not on me.
Okay, so the website, the phone number is, make sure you
Okay.
the right way, right, so that you can get a hold of this group, and if they don't know about it, they can't do anything about it. So let's start that process so that you can, because again, I think that's very, I agree with you, and I think the code compliance people are the best ones suited to make that contact. And then if everyone follows the same process, then they'll, hey, we need to do something more about this.
Yeah, there would have to be some significant enforcement of it, of course, for it to mean anything and change the culture there. You know, right now the culture is very much just free for all, bring as big a PA as you want to bring and blast as loud as you want to blast.
I know we're not talking about like if we have a quinceañera or we have a celebration that's going on.
No,
That's a
no,
whole
this
different
is
ball of
just
wax.
another day at
This
the
is just
park.
down at the beach.
Yeah, this is just looking
Got it.
now.
Second?
Yes, so the second issue that I believe is a really important public safety issue is open flames at Glen Otto Park.
That is definitely against the rules and definitely on the side.
On so many levels.
So, yes, so you see people with their little, you know, charcoal grills back up in the trees, up in the bushes, in close proximity to, you know, various flammable vegetative material. And it's very concerning, you know, as someone who lives right near the park too. It could be my house burning down if they start a fire. So I would like to see some, if that is already against the rule, some more awareness of that for the public and some enforcement of that, because I think that's a really, you know, we have a state of emergency right now with wildfires in the state, and this is a very important issue.
This is Frank. City manager just kicked out. July 17th is going to be a no fires in the coolers at all. That covers both sides of the Sandy as well. We also have an OAR, which highlights anything above the water line or on the water line is no fires. It's not allowed. Fires are allowed. So those are already there at the state level.
So
Locally, we have the ordinances as well.
So maybe it's an enforcement issue, because it is very much a culture, like nice day, people are out there with their charcoal grills and their stoves, and
This is where it gets
what they're
confusing
doing,
because charcoal is not considered open flame, and OPRD has some regulations that are specific to what you can and can't do at specific times. So that's part of the one day allowable based on the fire hazard. The next day it may not, but when you say open flame, you really have to define open flame.
would it be within the committee's purview to pass I guess you don't do ordinances because you're not the city council, but a rule, to issue a rule about this for the park?
There is already a rule that fires are not allowed. Fires and fireworks are not allowed in any city of Troutdale parks.
But what about like stoves that people are commonly using, like in the grass, you know?
Yeah, you're talking about the charcoal.
Or just like camp stoves, like, you know.
The gas, coal.
stoves. Yeah, right.
Yeah, open flame, and what constitutes, this is where we get into enforcement, and those definitions are in the code.
So I completely agree with you, Mr. Finley, that there is a gap in between the rules on the books and enforceability in the parks. And I would strongly encourage you to bring your concerns about enforcement of low-level offenses in parks to next year's budget committee discussions. Because I do plan on requesting at some FTE position, whether that's actually under parks or if it's under community development, code compliance, because really I think the park ranger would be more suited under code compliance. But you know, somebody who is in Troutdale parks writing tickets for these things that are not things that sheriffs has the capacity to deal with and is considered not rising to a high enough level of priority for them to dispatch. So I am aware of the issue, not just with enforcement of the rules that you have mentioned here, but with others as well. Motorized vehicles, for example, and so yeah, there needs to be some sort of in-house staff enforcement mechanism for things like this. I completely agree with you. So yeah, I think that while this committee does not have, it's not really under this committee's purview to be unilaterally setting those sorts of rules. This is a question of funding for the employee who would be doing that job.
Well, thank you for sharing with us today. It was wonderful to hear from a member of the community, even if it's not always super positive stuff. We're glad that you're going to the parks.
And please feel free to reach out, and also if you see something that looks like a fire danger, like you can call Gresham Fire about that also. Certainly. Thank you.
I don't think we have anybody extra online, so we'll close public comment. That was more than 5 minutes, that's on us. It's only one person. Number 5 is election and appointment of committee officers. So what's the normal way that we do this?
Vote.
I have some guidelines right here for election of officers. Information on election and duties of committee officers. Let's see here. Oh, never mind, that's not procedure, that's just general information. So each committee member may nominate themselves or another committee member to be chair or vice chair. No second is necessary, and a person may decline a nomination. This is all in Robert's Rules of Order, Chapter 12.
Right, so, any nominations? Frank?
I would nominate Tiffany Long to continue in the position of chair.
Third.
Well, I accept that. I'm learning as I'm going along. I don't have a problem keeping doing it. So, what about vice chair? Do you still want to do
I
vice?
think you vote on
Yeah,
chair
vote.
first.
Yes.
Take care of the one first.
Okay, are there any other nominations online or in the room? Okay, so we're gonna vote. A roll call vote.
All right, in the vote for Tiffany Long for the chair of the Parks Advisory Committee, Woodrow Terrell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Cheryl Lee Winters, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tiffany Long, how do you vote?
Yes.
Frank Stevens, how do you vote?
Yes.
Robbie Cantrell, your vote.
Yes.
Shelley Reynolds, how do you vote?
Yes.
Victoria Rizzo, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Jim Hill, how do you vote?
Yes.
The vote passes. Tiffany Long is the Parks Advisory Committee chair.
Thank you. And then vice chair? We have nominations for a vice chair?
I nominate Shelley Reynolds.
I would like to nominate Frank Stevens.
This is Robbie. I second.
There is no second needed.
You don't need a second. That's okay. Thanks, Robbie.
I love you, Frank.
I love you too.
right, are there any other, oh, sorry.
You do not want it?
So this is Shelley. Shelley will decline this time and let one nomination stand on the floor. Shelley's got it on our plate.
All right, so if there are no other nominations for vice chair, we will move forward with a roll call vote.
All right, for the vote on Frank Stevens for vice chair of the Parks Advisory Committee, Woodrow Terrell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Shirley Winters, how do you vote?
I abstain.
Tiffany Long, how do you vote?
Yes.
Frank Stevens, how do you vote?
Yes.
Robbie Cantrell, how do you vote?
Yes.
Shelley Reynolds, how do you vote?
Yes.
Victoria Rizzo, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Jim Hill, how do you vote? The vote passes. Frank Stevens is the vice chair of the Troutdale Parks Advisory Committee.
All right, next up is committee concerns initiative, future agenda items, and closing comments. We will start, shall we start online? Sherry?
I don't know that I have anything.
Robbie?
No, nothing for me. Thank you.
Let's go around starting with Jim. Frank?
Oh, I got a whole sheet.
Go for it.
Let's start at the top and work our way down. So starting with Sandy Palisades side of Beaver Creek, there is a slippery section on the corner that we need to look at. I've had 2 people fall on. One with a pretty nasty bruise. It's not terribly steep, it's just slippery.
Coming down the SP4 trailhead there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you come around the corner, the rocks are kind of loose and there's really no support right there. So one of our 79-year-old individuals that goes down there, and there are kids that go down there to the water and stuff too. So we need to look at that for a public safety aspect. Yeah, I put that one on the top of the list. Auto parking I already took care of. I would like to address the next meeting agenda and the possibility of creating a steward program that would highlight neighborhoods being part of the park stewardship. And I'd like to see that start with Sunrise Park. I think that's low-hanging fruit because you actually have projects that we need input on. So I think that would be a great start to where to do tabling with parks at times in places where people could give feedback on what their thoughts are. And outreach to the surrounding community and how they could be part of the solutions and inputs as well. It's their park. So, I think a lot of that came up with the discussion when we were talking to the individual on the north side of Sunrise, and he was looking at blackberry removal. Didn't understand that he could actually do the blackberry removal himself. And those are the kind of things we could schedule with volunteers to get it done. That kind of thing. And tabling at First Friday, was that already on the list?
I don't know if we were planning to do a table at First Friday. I mean, we could. I'm planning to do one at the movies in the park,
Yes.
which is coming up before First Friday.
So I attended the First Friday in June. I'm kind of torn on how many locals show up for the First Friday, so I don't know if that's really, from a park standpoint, I don't think it has as much bang for the buck. But that's just an observation, so I don't have the data in front of me to say how many Troutdale people show up for First Fridays. I think that's something we may want to look at in the future as an agenda item. We have the Placer program.
Yeah, we can certainly look at the aggregate cell phone data to kind of figure out a rough idea of how many attendees are there.
Yeah, because I think going directly to the parks is more of a bigger bang for the buck. And then the movie night is definitely Troutdale, so we'll see a lot more Troutdale items. Troutdale leaves?
Troutdalians?
Troutdalers, yeah.
I can't thank parks staff enough, the fact that we're doing so much with so much property, with so few people in the heat of the summer, dealing with facilities, 88 acres, and 22 different parks. I'm not even counting Sharon Nesbitt yet, so, and Cha-Cha Trail, and beaches, and. I think you guys are on track to really do some great stuff in the next couple of years. I'm happy to be part of it. That's it.
I think the parking thing in Glen Auto is going swimmingly. I am concerned about the fires because I'm really close to those. And, I know that that whole area is very dry right now too, so. To add on to what you were saying about your associations and stewards and things. I've been doing some research for National Night Out and and some of the CERT teams. And there are a lot of them, and there's a lot of other cities that have very robust neighborhood associations. And I think Citizens Advisory might be getting to that soon, but I think that definitely want to make sure that your steward grouping and neighborhood associations are hand in glove, so we don't have, you know what I mean?
No, I would agree.
Yeah, I think
Actually, I think the two are synonymous.
Absolutely, good. Because I think that just makes things a lot smoother. And definitely gonna help out with that.
Holistic.
I like holistic. Holistic's good. Other than that, can't wait for the foundation series to come out now.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I don't have much to add other than that hopefully Movies in the Park goes by swimmingly. We don't get a thunderstorm or something that makes it canceled.
100-degree weather or something, yeah. I mean,
I haven't printed it all, but I'm still working on my binder idea that I have and excited to be there and, you know, talk about all the cool features that we have in our park with people and actually have something at my fingertips where I can flip and show them pictures of certain things and all the, what feels like secret pathways into these amazing trails that we have that are just between two houses and you don't know they exist. So still planning on doing that. I've been in touch with Molly and Ann. So that's basically what's going on with me. I've been enjoying the outside. It's been wonderful. I've been trying to pick up trash when I see it. I think maybe discussing at the next meeting or the next agenda or sometime in the future how we could get volunteer and people put in volunteer hours, because Frank and I were having a conversation about something like there are a lot of us that are helping and we're volunteering, and if we actually are tracking these volunteer hours, we can prove to the city that you actually need more people to cover. And so talking to us or hear openly about how we could sign up to volunteer and where we could track those hours at would be helpful for us to know so that we can support you and hopefully you can get what you need for the acreage in the parks that we have. That might be something that I'd like to see added to the agenda is like, do we sign up with you? Do we come and have, I know Frank's
Yeah, I'm on the list.
on boots on the ground and doing a bunch of stuff. Like one of the things that I would like to see happen is he's talking about slippery path off SP4 down Robbins Way, which I always go down instead of up. There's two spots that get a lot of water and it's really muddy and squishy and slippery. And I myself have fallen once this year. So, I mean, I would come pick up gravel and just go to the Harlow House parking lot and walk it up and spread some gravel there. I'm happy to do that. So like, how do I go about doing something like that? So that I can't just say, hey, can you go do this? Because I'm willing to do it. I just don't, you know, I have the time. I have the hands and the manpower to do it. So that's something that I would love to learn more about is the process of volunteering with you guys. And then tracking those hours.
We do track volunteer hours, and Frank can tell you that he did. I just asked him for his volunteer hours for SAIF reporting purposes that we have to do quarterly. So yeah, certainly anybody who volunteers should be filling out their you know, like a waiver and tracking their hour sheets. And we do this in group, group volunteer, events, like when there's like 20 or 40
Oh, yeah,
people.
I've seen the sheet, like at like Friends of Trees or at Earth Day, I've put my name on a sheet.
We
So-
also do it with individuals, like, what Frank has been doing, or a few other people around town who volunteer on an ongoing basis at like, one location or multiple locations that they are dear to their hearts and they want to do something there.
The ladies that do the weeds at the butterfly garden, are they putting in their?
They are. I did just submit their volunteer hours in the same report that I got Frank's for. So.
Okay. Well, that's all I have.
But if I may, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But more to the point of what you're talking about with like, organizing like, trail work parties, and I think what Frank is talking about as well, like, having like a neighborhood association or a volunteer group that's doing something like that. I think all that's really lacking there is just a leader. To be like, I want to organize this group, I have everybody's contact information, I'm meeting everybody at the trail on Saturday, here's what we need, can I get all this stuff from you on Friday? Like, and I would love to see that happen, that would be awesome, so.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Congratulations to you and Frank for chair. And if you need help with your,
Frank was planning on being there?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, it's the Star Wars.
I haven't gotten a confirmation that they'll let me do it, but they wanted me to do it at the last one and that got canceled, so.
and there's 2 more days.
Yeah, there's one, I won't actually be here for the August one, but I'll definitely be here for this one.
I might be able to do it. I have a nice yellow tent too.
It's nice and, all right.
I hope people dress up for Star Wars, then.
I'm bringing the lightsaber.
Oh, we have a couple of fancy lightsabers too, I forgot about that. All right, so hold or cancel next month's meeting? Hold?
Shelley, I vote cancel.
Yeah, I said take a break.
Are we gonna vote on then, on the, should we do an actual?
I think,
When would be the meeting? That's a good question.
Well, it's always the third.
it's the third Wednesday.
I think I might be
It'll be August 20th.
going backwards. I'm actually gone. I won't be back yet. So irregardless of whether we have it or not, we're gonna vote. I'm with them. I'm a cancel. I'm not here.
I'm here. I'll be in New York the week prior. New York.
I don't, at least as far as I can tell, I haven't seen any agenda items that are urgently
I don't think, is there anything on
necessary
your?
to discuss.
Nothing really, no, I mean, certainly, I will be, in probably in the fall, I will be wanting to, involve those Dudick consultants, with our meetings here, because there's gonna be a lot of public outreach that will be happening around that project. And I think that, this committee will be excellent, I don't know, ambassadors, liaisons to the residents of Troutdale. As I certainly don't want to be representing the residents of Troutdale alone in my meetings with Dudek. I want them to be hearing from you and how you all feel about the trees that line the streets here. So, and what changes you all would like to see. And certainly that's something that, if we're gonna take a couple of months break, feel free to take that question, talk to your friends and neighbors about it. Talk to people about street tree code, talk to people about how they feel about street trees.
We have one right now.
We do, yep. The onus of maintenance is squarely on the homeowner. And so really, and while, the city will not be able to afford to take over maintenance of all the street trees in the city. We simply can't do that. So what I envision is that there's some sort of middle ground, some amount of additional incentive, whether that's continuing to fund free trees through Friends of Trees. If you want to plant a tree, you can get one for free, or something like that. Just some incentive to promote replanting of street trees. And so ask your friends and neighbors if we're going to take a little hiatus, like, what they think about that and what would make them want a street tree, you know, more, or what their problems are with street trees.
Can I ask you, Jonah, if residents are responsible for maintaining the streets, is it safe to assume that it's their responsibility to maintain the sidewalk as well?
It is, and so I think that a big part of what has soured many people in the city on street trees is that 25, 30 years ago, the wrong species of trees were planted in our narrow planting strips. And so as myself and Erica Palmer work with UDEC over the coming year on this code audit, a big part of that is going to be a street tree manual and planting list with an appropriate list of species for the width of your sidewalk. And also one other code update that needs to happen is that we need to require root barriers being installed with any new plantings. That didn't happen 30 years ago. That was people didn't know to do that then. And a lot of the sidewalk infrastructure problems we have have been this ticking time bomb from 30 years ago.
I noticed walking in on Evans and Llewellyn, a lot of hazardous sidewalk. And I know that residents are potentially financially limited in their ability, I mean, because that's not a cheap.
No, it'd be $5,000 or $10,000 to fix
Yeah.
a sidewalk. Yeah, it's
I would like to be able to consider if there is a way the city can help financially with some of those repairs. Fortunately, I'm not one of those people, but I sure know a lot of sidewalks in our area that are, and
This is an issue of every city, it's not just.
oh yeah,
But that being said, like, you know, that is something that we will be looking at with DUDEC over the next year. What can the city do? What are we able to offer in terms of those incentives? Or, you know, some kind of setback or something, or some kind of reimbursement, like, yeah, your sidewalk repairs are gonna cost this much, but we will reimburse you for, you know, 25% or 30% of that cost if you planted a street tree when you're done. And I think a lot of people's hesitancy is like, well, I just had to spend $5,000 fixing my sidewalk, so I'm never doing that again. I'm not planting another tree, right? But if you plant the right tree, you won't ever have to do that again.
Benefits.
Okay, so we're still trying to decide if we're holding or canceling next month's meeting. It sounds like the DUDEC stuff is probably pushed to September in the fall more. Skip August. I would like to know, I'm fine canceling as long as you let us know if you get a date that Sharon Nesbitt is gonna open or getting close to open, like, is that supposed to happen in the fall?
September was the target. I would be surprised if they finish it in September. I think it's much more likely October. Sherry, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was just going to add something. Frank had brought up about that trail, whatever we call it, SP4, whatever, going down east side, going down into Beaver Creek.
Renaming that sometime too, by the way. If we ever want to give it a better name than SP4. Yeah.
Okay, well, so I was just going to say that when that trail got really bad was after that truck rig thing went down there to do the assessment for the bridge. So it created more problems on that. And I would say that is a concern, but the first concern would be at the top of the trail where you guys cut the fence out. The very first fence you cut out, the middle thing, it's a little bit high. It's not beat down. And so if somebody was to trip, I'm pretty sure it would cause some serious damage to somebody.
I can get out there with an angle grinder and cut that off.
Okay, I was gonna say, but I just worried if we spend a bunch of time and money trying to do some trail repair and then the truck is going back down there again, it might make more sense to make sure that, I mean, I'm not sure when the bridge is actually going to be put in, but I know because of the funding and the talk about it going, that's just something that, I wanted to add to that.
That's a very good point. And that, yeah, so any real serious, trail rehab on that trail should take place after the bridge is finished, because I can guarantee you that there's gonna be more work happening down there and probably more vehicles moving up and down. So, but there's small things that we can do in the meantime, certainly. So we can look at some, small improvements.
Are we canceling it?
Should we just do a vote, because it'll be easier to track?
This is Shelley. I move that we cancel the August
I second.
committee meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we're gonna cancel August and plan to see you in September.
Is canceled. All right.
Were there any nays?
Are there any nays or are we all ayes? I think everybody agreed.
Robbie's gone.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, thanks for coming. We're done.
Great, adjourned at 7:56. Wow.
This is for you.